Welcome to Premarket Strategy for January 25th, 2021. I cannot believe the first month of the year is almost over. It's a little crazy. We'll start off with ARKK. I've talked about this over and over and over. Great one to trade for those of you that are starting out possibly with smaller accounts. Hold on a second. My computer is being bizarro. It has all the big movers in it. Shopify, Zoom, Tesla, Spotify, they're all in there. It's gapping up quite a bit here. If we're looking at the volume profile, I do like that it's come back a little bit. If it came back even further to this 147.48 level, I would love that. I don't know that it will. Let's see here. So I'm going to copy this level. So I'm going to see where that corresponds to on the daily real quick. Let's see what we're looking at here. God, my computer is being weird. So, yeah, so that the point of control area right now corresponds to just above the highs from about 5 days ago. So traditionally, if we see a large size gap, any kind of backfill generally happens at the beginning of the day. So if we're going to come back and test, you'll typically see that sell off right after the open. And then it'll stabilize, form a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high, wait for a triangle layout to get in long on something like this. Full time frame continuity to the upside, expecting good things. Beam, we got this lovely inside day. We are well above that right now. If it's strong, maybe it comes back and taps this 101.41 area. We have a nice, I'll see how that corresponds to the volume profile. We have a nice possible pivot machine gun back to the upside. And that level's mid-range-ish on the volume profile. So, you know, we'll see it's been all the way up to 103 and all the way down to 100. Beams range. Gosh, what is this crazy? I swear my computer, it is so good that I'm getting a new one because it is completely wonky. I can't even pull up my other stuff, so I'm just not going to worry about it. Anyway, I like that on the break of that inside day with possible pivot machine gun. You could do a lotto type call out to the end of the week if you really wanted to, like a short-term swing up to magnitude. Beyond meat, I like this. It's just a little itty bitty gap. Clearly, Beyond used to be somebody, there's a ton of room back up. Doesn't report until February. Really like this. Moving 7 points. If I buy lotto calls, the way I figure it out is I say, okay, there's 5 trading days in the week. You know, multiply. So 35 points is a possibility. It can easily fill this gap all the way up here. So maybe I'd buy, you know, 150 calls. You could really go out on that if you want. I tend to be a little more conservative even on the lotto side of things, but I really like that for a long pivot machine gun back up. Fuel cell, from what I remember, the options on this are fairly decent, and I do like that it's not gapping a ton. It's come back right here near the highs from a couple days ago. That's a great setup. Especially if it came down even a little bit more after the market opens, taps that and boom, full time frame continuity back to the upside. Let's see here. FedEx, I've been waiting for this to set up because I do think there's some serious pivot machine gun potential back to the upside on FedEx. It is gapping, or was above yesterday's close. Right now it's slightly, or Friday's close, slightly below, not a big deal. It's sitting right on these highs from several days ago. I really like that, even if it held that level. And this one's not the biggest mover, but about 6 points. Certainly not the slowest either, but it doesn't report until March. I checked the open interest, and it looks like there's a ton of people betting on it to be 300 before the next earnings. It's probably a little far out for me. Can it do it? Absolutely. But I'd probably buy something more in the 260, 265 area out to March. But I really like that for a little bit of a longer term swing. FSLY. This guy can really go. It's sitting just above, or I'm sorry, is it just below, I'm sorry, like 5 cents below the close from Friday. Definitely have room back to the upside, full time frame continuity, like FSLY. Fubo. Oh, this thing's gapping more than I would have liked it to, but that seems to be the way lately. So let me see. What are we looking at for volume profile? Just gonna check something. Clone, that's what I want to do. Gonna see where this lines up on the daily chart. Yes, that's not bad. So if it pulls back to this 39 to 39.50 range, somewhere in that area, I do like, cooperate please. I do like that for a long, somewhere in that box with, like I said, pivot machine gun potential back to the upside. You could look at magnitude and buy a call out to there. 61. Fubo can get moving when it wants to go. So you could buy, I believe it reports in March. You could buy March 21st expiries at 60 for Fubo if you wanted to swing it. Halliburton, this is on my I used to be somebody list. This could be even one that you take a leap, in other words, out to January of next year. I did check open interest on that as well, and I want to say the 30 calls out to January 21st were pretty decent. If you're not really into going that far out, they don't report until April, so not the biggest mover, obviously, but you could check the open interest on regular way expiry, and what I mean by that is third week expiry in April, and by, I don't know, I would say somewhere in the 25 area, maybe, if you want to do a longer term swing. JKS, I do like this inside candle. I like this trade on a break of that inside candle to the upside, pivot machine gun potential. Going back into highs. Pre-market profiles, it stands right now, we're near the bottom of that range, which is favorable for a long. So let's see where that sinks. Whoops. On the daily. So that's the highs roughly from 3 days ago. It's a nice setup for a long. Safest way is to wait for it to break, but trading options, sometimes that's a little trickier. Lemonade, this is going to be one of my top watches. Pivot machine gun back up. We are gapping quite a bit more than when I looked at it originally. I'd like to see it come back and test these highs from Friday, which is entirely reasonable. That would be my ideal setup. Full time frame continuity, back to the upside. Momo, this is one of those I used to be somebody stocks. You could do a leap out on this. You could just trade it for the week if you like. It's really on the list because of the I used to be somebody setup. On the hourly, we have that inside candle. If you have pulled back a little bit, you'd really want it to break that 1585 level with magnitude 1635 and all the way up to 1675. mRNA, I just saw some good news out on this guy. Pivot machine gun back to the upside. We have this inside candle. We are above that now. Ideal setup is for it to come and tap the highs from Friday. It's kind of mid-range-ish on the volume profile. And bring us back to full time frame continuity to the upside. You could definitely swing that for the week, because you see on the weekly it's got pivot machine gun as well back to the upside. Netflix got this guy potential short. I don't know that that's going to be the case. It's popping back up a little bit, so maybe she holds and goes. This particular setup on the daily isn't the most bullish thing I've ever seen. But we'll see. It's just on there because of the gap. And it may turn out and just surprise us and zip all the way back to the upside. I don't know. But the setup I'd be looking for is more on the short side. Not saying it will do that, but it's a possibility. NVAX. I like this. Doesn't report until March. It's done nothing forever, but it is starting to show a pattern. Got a low, a high, a higher low. We haven't hit the higher high, but we have an even higher low. It's sitting right on these moving averages, and the possibility is there for some explosive movement back to the upside. I'd love it to pull back to this open from Thursday. Let's just see where that syncs up here. That looks real nice with the previous developing point of control. So that level is right around 125.42. Shopify, and if you're trading ARKK, this has Shopify in it, so you're all set there. This one looks like it wants to move. Doesn't report for a while yet. Love it to pull back to that 1200 level and just shoot on up. Shop can move. I want to say the range is right around 30 points on this bad boy. Those highs sync up nicely with the bottom of the volume profile. Really, really like that for a long. Tesla, I am in this bad boy as a swing. I do plan to get out. I believe they report on Wednesday. I plan to get out before earnings. If I just grabbed one call. Had I grabbed more, I might have been okay just holding one through earnings, but probably not going to do that just because it's such a crapshoot. W, this guy can move 20 points. This nice inside candle. Wait for the break at 305.13. Pivot machine gun back to the upside. It doesn't report for a while. It's got serious range of 20 points. I'd like the weekly setup too. If this candle did get smacked down, but we have a little thinking candle, and we definitely have some magnitude. So assuming it breaks and holds that level like that for movement back to the upside. Two more. X. I like this. We got good little strong TTO, nice small white candle, pivot machine gun potential back to the upside. X, for being a $20 stock, has some pretty decent options and it can move. So it's just holding, or it's right near Friday's close. It'd be real pretty if it came down to, or not close highs, if it came down to the close area, held that and then took off. That corresponds with the bottom of the volume profile. It may not choose to do that, so the highs, let me just see where that corresponds. Yeah, it's going to be right above where our price is now. So even if it held kind of the level that it has now, and then decided to go up, I wouldn't mind that either. But definitely room for it to move back to the upside. Last but not least is Zoom. I'm also in this, I believe, out to March. It's just gotten so beaten up, and it looks like it's finally trying to maybe make its way on up. We got lows, highs, higher lows. Where it's sitting right now with that small little inside candle, there could be some explosive movement back to the upside. And yeah, now we're back to the beginning. So those are my charts for today. Top watches are going to be Tesla, Zoom, JKS, NVAX, Lemonade, and I think that's more than enough. What stocks do y'all want to look at and run through this morning? I'm just gonna fix my computer is being wonky, so irritating. Nothing, guys? You're all set? Or is my sound just not working? Serious computer issues here. You guys are good? Going once? Going twice? Going 3 times? Alright, if nobody has questions, I am going to end the recording and get my chart set up. We're over here. GME.